Hello and welcome to my channel, Cali Legends Media. Today I want to talk about some experiences I had both in prison and out of prison. And it has to do with knowing the person that you're dealing with, you know? I thought about it because I seen a video about tattooing and about who does your tattoos and all this stuff. And later on finding things out behind the guy that put the tattoo on you, you know, whether he was no good, and people figuring out, okay, that vato was no good that year when you got that tattoo, then you must have been over there on the yard with him. And you find things out about people different ways, right? While I was in prison, I was part of the music program. We started up a music program. We bought instruments, we bought drum sets, guitars, amplifiers, microphones. And there was several bands on the yard. We had the Whites had a band that played alternative rock, classic rock, and metal. The Paisas had a band that played mostly corridos and banda music, And the Blacks had their thing going where they did some rap and some R&B. And then the Homies also had a group. We played oldies and R&B. And some of the homies rap too, Some of the homies from San Diego, they got down, did their little thing with, made their own rap up, using some songs, some more modern songs, Anyways, my point about telling you this is that the singer from the band, from the Sureño band, right? His name was Blackbird, okay? And the vato could, man, he could sing. Just about whatever song we brought to the table, he either knew it by heart already, or he knew it more or less, and he just had to polish it up a little bit. He'd practice it, and he'd be able to get in the right key, and he could blow, So we played on the yard several evenings. We'd have concerts in the evenings, and he was out front with his mic doing his thing. The homies would be all on the bleachers with their pistol. Some people would do some loquera and go over there and just kick back and curad. Just trip. Well, once in a while, he'd go out to court, right? He was going out to children's court because, there was a situation surrounding his children where he was trying to steal, in other words, not lose his rights to his kids and stuff while he was in prison. I don't know, whatever he had told everybody he was going to children's court for. I really didn't pay attention. He wasn't in my building. And really, the only interaction I had was with him was during band practice and when we played on the yard. But we talked a little bit. We conversed, but we didn't kick it or anything. Really didn't know the dude, But that's not why. We just never got close like that. But I don't know how long it was. It was quite some time later. I ended up on another yard, and someone came from that yard. I think it was B yard. I'm not sure. Went over to D yard and had said, "Hey, you know that vato Blackbird, the one that used to sing with your band over there with the homies?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "Hey, homie, they got that fool." And I go, "What do you mean they got him?" He says, "Yeah, man, he had bad charges. Something had to do with his kids, And I was like, "Yeah, but he was on the yard a long time, And even a couple of times, when management changed, paperwork got checked again. Even though people were cleared, sometimes they'd run the whole yard again. All the homies again. They wanted to see everybody's paperwork. Well, I guess that's how it happened another time after I had left, and they found out dude was, the dude was fucked up. He had bad charges on him. And you never have a clue. The people he hung around with solid homies. He carried himself firme and everything. And people more or less liked him and respected him. He got down on the yard singing and stuff. He represented the homies good, but turned out he had bad charges. So it turned out all bad. But it just goes to show you really don't know people. You really don't. And then think about it. How did his Sally miss that? Did his Sally not ask to see his paperwork, or did his Sally not know what he was looking at? I don't know. It goes beyond anything I could imagine how he had slipped by and been around on that yard so long. But anyways, eventually his covers were pulled and he got dealt with accordingly. And it's like that too with people that we know here out in the street. You think you know somebody, and then later on you talk to somebody that lets you know something about the person, and you're like, what, serio, that vato, he's like that, or he did that. I had this camarada all the way from high school. So we went 9th grade, 10th grade, and part of the 11th grade. And then I left that school and I went to Garfield. And the dude graduated from the school that we were going to. I was going to Salesian. It was an all-guys school, private school. Your parents had to pay for you to go there. It was like a college preparatory school. Anyways, we became friends in band also, because we both took music from the 9th grade all the way through. We were in the marching band. We played at the rallies. We had a rock band. Whatever music was available, we jumped on it. And we were part of it. He played the guitar and sang, and I played the drums. And on the marching band, I would play the trumpet, or sometimes when we'd march down Whittier in the parade, I'd play the big drum, the big bass drum, or the snare drum, whatever. But anyways, my point is we were very, very close because we were always participating in this together, right? One day I'm on the county bus, right? And I'm not sure. I think we're headed up to Wayside, from the county to Wayside. And there's a bunch of blacks in the back, right? And they're talking loud, right? And I hear them mention, they're talking about a sister named Cheryl, okay? And yeah, she has a little boy from that essay, Jose. And it caught my ear. And I start listening, and they're talking about, like how this brother's banging Cheryl and this one's banging Cheryl when dude's at work and this and that, and like they're talking shit, Anyways, this is gonna come back later. You're gonna understand why I mentioned this. Jose used to come to my neighborhood with me, okay? We used to. He owned his own house on Cummings, and I used to rent a room from his pad there, But he was on another trip. I was always in the neighborhood, but sometimes I take my homeboys over there, and he'd kick it with us, and we'd drink or whatever, Sometimes he'd come with me over to my neighborhood when I had business to do, like drop something off or to get some money or whatever the case, And one day, back then, you had to buy syringes. Now they give them to you. But back then you had to buy syringes. So I knew 2 diabetics that would always give me bags of syringes, and I'd sell them for $1 each, And I had a bunch of them in the back of a little Toyota pickup that I had, right? And I was doing my thing, during the day at this place called the Disneyland Apartments right here in my neighborhood. And he knew, like I tell him, hey, I'm gonna go down to the Disneyland Apartments and I can go handle my business, and I'd stay there, and I'd be slinging, right? And one day he came with me and he kicked it for a while there, and he was peeping out what was happening, but I didn't trip on him. I known him since the 9th grade. We're already out of school already, But he peeped everything out, right? And I trusted him. Well, he moved to Hollywood, right? He moved to Hollywood, and I moved in with my old lady and stuff. And one day I just popped up at his house, right? And I had gotten busted for those things that I had in the back of my pickup, and the Juras raided the spot where I was at. That's when I was on the bus going to Wayside, and I heard these people talking about Cheryl and Jose, right? When I had never met Cheryl, right? I had heard Cheryl. I had heard he was seeing somebody. I don't know. I think she worked at a college or something, and he was teaching at a college, a trade class, right? Anyways, I just pop up at the pad while Cheryl's there, and now I meet her, and they have a little baby there with them, And as I'm going around the house, like I'm not really respecting Cheryl, I mean, I'm not disrespecting her, but I'm not treating her like the way I would have treated somebody, because I know what she was up to, I heard what I heard about her, and when I hear things like that, and I kind of get like a bad taste in my mouth for people, like if she's with dude, why is she messing around with these other dudes, Anyways, I come across a piece of paper. I'm standing by a window, and they're laying in the front room on the floor. They have they made like a little makeshift bed and stuff. And I'm talking to him, and I see a paper with a little bottle, but the little bottle's what caught my eye. It was, I don't know if it was called locker room or something, but apparently it's something that you sniff, and it's like an aphrodisiac. So I'm checking out the little bottle, and I go, hey, homie, what's this? He goes, it's nothing, just leave it right there. And I put it down, but when I put it down, there's a paper right there, right? And on the paper, it says LA County Sheriff's Department, right? And I look on the table, there's another paper where it said LA County Sheriff's something course completion, right? And then I looked at that paper, the one that had LA County Sheriff's on it, the first one, the big sheet, and it was like an application, it had all kinds of questions on it. And I put it down, and I turned around and I looked at him, and the look on his face, like that dude lost all his color, and his jaw dropped, and he looked dumbfounded, right? And it hit me. I told him, I go, hey, Joe. 'Cause I called him Joe. I was the only one that called him Joe. His name was Jose, but I called him Joe. I don't know why I called him Joe. It came out and it just stuck, and I always called him Joe. And he told me one day, hey, how come you call me Joe? I go, that's your name? No. He goes, no. He goes, but you're the only one that calls me Joe. And you always call me Joe. I go, I don't know. I thought that it just came out. Anyway, I turn around, I go, hey, Joe. I go, you know what? You're the one that told the Juras about the Disneyland Apartments and what I had in my truck. And he goes, I didn't tell him nothing. I didn't tell him nothing. They knew that by themselves. And once he said that, I knew. Like, how does he know what they know? You know what I mean? What's he doing with this application and this course completion? I go, man, this dude's a hura, or he's working with them, or he's doing something undercover for these for a law enforcement, for the sheriff's department. Man, I told him, you know what, man, I'll catch you later. And I took off, right? And and it was a big lesson to me, man, because I trusted this guy, you know, and I known him all those years. And the benefit he could have gotten for telling on me would have been so small. You know, there was no real payoff for a small little, peddler peddling some balloons and some, half grams and dimes of coke, whatever they wanted to mix with the. Back then, everybody was doing baluchis, right? And it was like whatever the payoff was to him it was really worth everything we had been through, with his mom and his family and us, growing up all those years together and stuff, the shit we went through together at high school. And, like, I'm like, man, you really don't know people, you really don't know people unless you know them, Yeah, I have a tattoo on my wrist. I can't show it to you because of the position I'm sitting in, and it's right here, where you're not gonna really be able to see it. But it says "Trust no human," and I put that with a complete conviction, man, that you really don't know who you can trust. I've been places and be talking with homeboys that I grew up since I was a kid, man, and I'll walk away and I'll forget something and happen to turn back and walk back in and hear them talking about me behind my back. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, people like, you really don't know who to trust, man. But especially people that you don't know, at all. Uh, I was surprised about Blackbird, that he was sick like that. If I would have known, believe me, I would have got more time, unless I got to wait, because I can't stand people like that, and I had made a commitment to myself and to the homies too. I let them know, man, if there's any, I don't want to participate in nothing because of drug debts or shit like that. But if it has to do with kids, or sick people like that, or testifying, I'll do what I got to do to keep the house clean, because like I said in my last video, or the video about Maravilla, I went in claiming Maravilla. I just came off the light, having trust issues, not really tripping on anything. But I did make that I did raise my hand for that. If that ever happened, if there was ever a case, where that needed to be taken care of, But anyways, I just wanted to make this quick video. Yeah, one time I was in the hole, right? Just to show you, it's not just Mexicans. I was in the hole, and in East Max, in Wayside, in Old Max, in the old East Max, they put, back then they put everybody in the hole any way you come in, right? And they put this brother in there with me, right? And when he got in there, he started taking out some blue shoestrings, because they take blue and red shoestrings from you. I know that, or sometimes they'll take your shoestrings if they're too long, anyways, if they think you might hang yourself or something, right? But anyways, dude says, I said, oh, you're Crip, and he says, shh, hey, man, shh, keep your voice down. Man, these motherfuckers hear that shit, I'll be assed out. So he was there fooling everybody. You know what I mean? He was from the other team, but nobody knew. You know, and it just goes to show you, man. People are sneaky. Be careful with people, man. Keep your eyes open, your ears open, and trust no human, man. You know, unless you really, really know that you know somebody, because sometimes people you think they're your friends or homies or, you know, we just don't know. You know, if I make this video longer, I could tell you so many things. Everybody, be careful, man. What you do, what you say in front of people, you just never know. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you on the next one. God bless you. God bless your families.